So it had dismantled many of the myths that we had heard, or myself had heard, like Africans don't want to deal with us, or they don't like us, or this or that. By the time we got there, we were so welcome. Like, they took good care of us just like family, and it was like, whoa.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
The cops here, they carry guns, but here's a fun fact for you. They only carry one bullet in their gun. They're only allowed to carry one bullet. So it's very, very, very peaceful, to a sense where gun violence is non-existent.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
First thing I want to let y'all know is you can start a trading account with as little as $10, all right? And if you're not greedy and trying to get into this and try to make a whole bunch of money really fast, you would understand that even getting into it with $10, maybe you may not make a lot of money, but you can begin to learn the markets with some skin in the game.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
But what this lesson is about is, like I said, for the working person. You do not have to be in front of the computer to actually participate in the foreign exchange market. Did y'all know that? Did you know you don't have to actually press buttons to participate in the foreign exchange market? You don't always have to be in front of the screen.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
Which is why I put on this call. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, and they are going to get Welcome to the call, everyone. Go ahead and let us know where you calling in from. Let us know what city you calling in from. What's your name? And what have you been learning from Markup Mondays? You know, share with us what you've been learning so far. We've been doing this for about 2 months now. We've had several foreign exchange market lessons, trading lessons. We've had several guests come on. What have you learned? What value have you gotten from these calls since you've been attending? So this is Markup Mondays, where we analyze the financial markets, educate the community on investing and trading, and we discuss our topic of the day. And today's topic of the day is the repat to East Africa. We have a very special guest on, brother Mikael. Before I bring him up, I just want to, give you some background on who he is to me, who he is to me and Rachel, and who he is really to the community. I met Mike around the same time that I met Rachel. I met Mike because of Rachel. We all came into the fitness world or fitness industry together. And the growth since then has just been amazing. He has always been a person, for the people, very inspirational, very outspoken, strong. And that's just developed into something even greater. And, he's doing great work for the people. And like I said, him and his wife, they have, went over to Africa. They're over there doing it. They're living it. And they're going through all the trials and tribulations so that they can help others come over who are interested. All right. So that's what this call is about. Last week, we went over West Africa. We had our guest, Aliyah Mahdi, on, and we went over West Africa, Senegal. Now you're going to get a different perspective from another side of Africa. All right. So we're going to be talking about the east side of Africa, and it's actually Tanzania or Tanzania. I'm going to clear it up when I bring Mike up of how to properly pronounce that. But without further ado, I give to you, brother Mikael. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, man? I know it's late over there. I mean, early.
All is well. All is up, man. Peace, love, light, and prosperity to everybody. Appreciate you, Brady, for having me on. It's most definitely an honor, especially, my brother who, we didn't have some time building when I definitely would stay up this late for you. So, what I'm saying? Much
man.
Love.
I greatly appreciate it, man. Like I said, I know it's 3:00 in the morning over there. Everybody who's tuning in, it is 3:00 in the morning, and he is taking time. He has a busy life, busy day. He has a lot of things to do. He has a family to take care of, and he is taking time out, cutting into his sleep to inform us, and allow me to interview him on what it's like to visit and what it takes to live over in East Africa. So the first thing that I wanted to clear up is the pronunciation of Tanzania or Tanzania. A lot of people over here in America call it Tanzania.
So yeah. When we got over here, we called it Tanzania as well, but the right way to pronounce it is Tanzania.
So Tanzania. So everybody on the call, that is the proper pronunciation for Tanzania is actually Tanzania. Thank you for clearing that up, bro. So how long have you guys been over in Tanzania?
It'll officially be 3 months at the end of this month. So October 30th, it'll be 3 months. We got here July 30th.
Nice.
Yeah, and about 3. It felt like a year, to be honest. Which is
felt like a year.
Yeah, it felt like we've been here for a long time. I guess because so much work that we're doing over here and we have accomplished thus far. I just feel like we've been here longer than 3 months.
Right. Maybe you really have been there longer than 3 months, but just we were displaced for some time, right?
Right. My mind's been here, but my body wasn't.
Right. So what I always ask, what drove you and Ange? Like, what drove y'all? What was the inspiration? Why did you decide to move from America, where it's so comfortable? It's so comfortable here. So, it's everything we know, like to step outside of your comfort zone like that. What drove you to do that?
Okay, so I'm definitely in, but before I answer that, what I want y'all to think about while I talk is my question to you while I'm speaking is, what is freedom? Just a question to keep in your mind. What actually is freedom? And so what started for me, and I always like to tell the backstory of it, because I feel like if I tell the initial reason why, it wouldn't do anybody justice to understand the fullness of the decision. And so I want to kind of start back in my years in my youth. I came from a complex family of religiosity or philosophy, as you could say, where my grandparents were hardcore Christians, dedicated and believed in the church. And then I had my father, who had later in his years adopted the African spirituality of belief as far as his value system. My mother, she's a Christian as well, but it was more of she learned through life lessons. So I was able to get a different, mixture of belief systems, I guess you could say, with the life value system versus the spirituality value system with the religion value system. So I had I guess you could say, a balanced diet of spirituality. So it gave me options, I guess you could say. But through my walk, I was more driven towards my father's belief system, and he practiced the Yoruba religion, which I don't currently practice now. But that was kind of what opened me up to Africa. That was kind of what opened me up to, where we came from and what we used to actually practice. And so that was in my younger years, and then through college, I started to even develop more the historical history of us, by learning about slavery, even learning about that how we even got into slavery was by the Atlantic slave trade. So then that opened my eyes more. I always believed in the Most High. I always believed in the historical characters of the Bible. It's just the religion itself I couldn't resonate with. So it made me kind of dig more into history. So I always loved history. I always wanted to know history. Now, at the time, of course, we were limited in high school because they never taught us our own history. But when I went to a HBCU, I went to Central State University. I graduated with a criminal justice degree. It gave me a different, diverse way of looking at history. And so from there, I would say my first spiritual awakening or wake up call, per se, was July 2014. I was actually in Virginia at my family's family reunion. And my grandmother, she's actually a historian. So she actually had put something together where our family reunion was on an actual slave plantation that our family was on. And so at that time, it was a very emotional, because I'm like, okay, it's heavy to like really walk on the plantation that your ancestors were slaves at, and just kind of walking through the acres and walking through the house and walking through just everything. It was a lot going on. And that was the first time I received a call from my little brother, kind of awakening me to, or planted the seed, I would say, to who we are. That we weren't just Negroes. We weren't just African Americans. We weren't just, they call the Afro-Latino wetbacks. You know what I'm saying? We weren't just these bywords and proverbs, but we were a special people. And so, at the time when you're indoctrinated and you going with the program, because we all are or were programmed to this system we call westernized civilization. And so at the time I was resisting the information, because it's like, you never heard of this information. I never heard of us being a people who had these special powers and who was able to do these certain things and who was able to lead a people from certain different captivities and bondages. I never heard of that before. And so, for me, like anything else for anybody, and as y'all know, when you talk about a diet, we talk about healing and cleansing, all fruit. The first thing somebody look at you like, whoa, what you mean? All fruit. I can't have my meat. I can't have my bread. So it's one of those moments, like, what you mean? Like, you trying to strip me from what I know. And so for me, like anything, when you're learning something, you have to unlearn first to relearn. And that's like we like to say, is a tilling process. And so I had to go through my tilling process, and then about 2015, I really started to really take my spiritual walk more serious and started to learn more and started diving into books like From Babylon to Timbuktu. Started diving into books like The Blueprint for Black Power. Started diving into books like The Valley of Dry Bones. Started looking into the Holy Bible or the Holy Scriptures, whatever you want to call it, from a cultural standpoint rather than religious standpoint. I started to just take the veil off my eyes of what was being told to me versus what was right in my face, just like the Matrix. And so from that point, it started me on my journey of now, because with anything, if you kind of find out a people, you got to find out where they located, right? So now for me, I actually personally been able to study and find history on my personal family. So I was blessed to really not only have a historian in my family, but to actually dig deeper and connect it with Africa. So from 2015, I was able to really research. I'm talking about from my last name. My last name comes from my father. So I was able to not only find the name of the slave master, I was able to find the name of his 4 sons. I was able to find the city. I was able to find the state. I was actually even able to find the tribe that was in that state. And so for me, it was huge. And it took me to a whole nother level now on having that drive to find out information. And so 2016 comes along, and this is where I met Rachel 2015, met Brady 2016. And so they came right in the midst of me transitioning in my life. So they seen, brother, using all this profane language and, hype and drinking and all that, to now starting to take life serious and really buckling down. Like if you're going to teach a thing, you have to first live it. And so I was going through that transition in my life between loving the world and having to come out the world. And so once we moved to Atlanta and was able to get away from the noise, I was able to actually sit down. I was actually able to start healing. I was actually able to start thinking clearly. And with Atlanta too, Atlanta is very spiritual in many different ways, but it's very spiritual and very cultural. So it even heightened my awakening even more because Atlanta is very Afro or African centric. So it's always kind of in your face because a lot of people down there are still heavily seeking their culture. Really, if you want to look for African culture within the USA, Atlanta is the place to be because there's so many different expressions of Africa within Atlanta. And so through that, I was able to make certain connections. And I have finally buckled down, and my godmother, shout out to LaShawan, she had asked me, said, hey, you and Angie, have y'all ever been interested in going to Ghana? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm getting there, but yeah, most definitely. So when I tell you, and y'all know me, when I'm determined about something, I'm going to go get it. So, with that going on, and we just moving to Atlanta 2017, I'm trying to get reestablished in Atlanta while trying to pay for this trip. So, but I was very, very determined to go to this trip. So, like I was saying, understanding having to strip myself from westernized living, westernized diets, westernized thinking, westernized education, it made me drive even more and more and more. So I just went on this binge of watching all this different African culture on YouTube, start watching different YouTubers, start really studying and what was really going on in Africa, because the media don't tell you the truth. They'll show you a dang corner of Africa and say that's the whole Africa. It'll be a little bush, it may be a little dirty animal, and say, look, that's what Africa looks like. You know what I'm saying? But it's not showing the beauty of Africa. It's not showing the gold, the minerals. It's not showing the natural fruit that has not been touched by man or manipulated by man. It's not showing you the family structure and the tribe still standing strong. It's not showing none of Africa like that. So for a lot of our people, we're scared. We're scared to even see what's going on in Africa because white media, Caucasian media has told us that Africa is a bunch of bushmen and bush women who eat rabbits and alligators and just untamed creatures. Untamed creatures. But lo and behold, why they telling us, it's scaring us, They're going to Africa.
Yep, and
They're
they taking up all the minerals.
Yeah,
all the resources,
the culture, and the tribes. But they're telling us we should fear for our lives going over there because that's not a place for us. But lo and behold, when you look into history, you know what they told us? They told us they took us from Africa because they wanted to show us how to be civilized people. So they took us civilized people to show them how to be civilized under their rulership. And it made no sense. And so I was very strong about going to Africa. Very, very strong. And so I tell y'all this, for anybody who wants to go, whether you be visiting or whether you plan to move, you have to understand. But beyond this flesh, beyond this construct of what we call the matrix or what we call the world, there's a spiritual war going on. And one of the biggest battles they want to win is for the African children not to connect back with Mama Africa. Because for one to connect with their land, to connect with their language, to connect with their diet, to connect with their apparel, to connect with their culture, and to connect with their God, you have now lost the battle. You have now lost the battle. Because it's not about this. Believe it or not, this is the last thing. But if you can unlock this, can't no man stop it. And for us to unlock this, we got to connect back with the roots, the grassroots. We got to connect back with the genetic information that leads back to the origins of our bloodline. We got to connect back to the very thing, the very spirit that gives us the rhythm or gives us this hair that we grow like this. Like Brady, your hair grows tall. There's no other creature or no other a being on this earth that grows hair like you. Mm-hmm. And even in history. But where does that hair originate from? Africa. There's no other people that grow hair in any other place like you except Africa. So why can't we go back home? And so for me, I was very, very strong on going. And we went through a lot of, just trying to visit. We had to do, we almost gave up August 2018 because at that time, I didn't have no job. I'm still trying to get my fitness business up and running. And so we literally struggling to pay, but something kept driving me to go. And me and my wife, we buckled down and said, look, we're going to go regardless. We're going to go regardless, no matter what happens, we're going to go. And so then I'm talking about literally, Brady, 3 days before we had to leave. Because how it is with Ghana, you have to buy a visa. I think at that time, I think it was 7 to 8 weeks before you leave. And so we got a call 3 days before we left, and the people at the Ghana embassy said, we forgot to put y'all stuff in the mail. We can send it off tomorrow, but it probably won't get to you till the next Saturday. We had to leave that too. Wow. So I'm like, dang, this is getting more tough now. Why are we having this much trouble leaving? So at that time I got discouraged. I'm like, man, dang. I'm like, I don't even know how we about to do that. How we about to get it? And so you know me and Angie, we crazy. So she came up with an idea mind you, we in Atlanta now. Our visa's in Washington, D.C. She like, why don't we just hop on the road? I'm like, hop on the road. I'm like, hop on the road. I said, how are we gonna do that? We gotta get they're not open. So the embassy wasn't open on that Saturday. So she just called a lady and see if she could work something out. So, all praise to the Most High that the lady worked it out. She said, look, what I'll do is I'll leave your visa at this certain CVS and you can pick it up. And I'm telling you, that night at 7:00 p.m. Friday, we hit the road. We didn't get there till about 8 a.m. in the morning Saturday, and we got that visa, bro. We got that visa. And so we were able to go to Ghana. And once we got there, I realized why it was such a fight to get there, because now it gave me a bigger perspective on who we were. Even when you look at the Bible, see, people look at it from a religious standpoint, not knowing that above all things, that book is talking about a family. You see, it's talking about a family structure. So for anybody who ever studied the Bible, Africa, you actually get to see it play out. Where you get to see your brother love you as he loves himself. You get to see if somebody loses something that you help them give it back. You get to see when somebody walks in your house that you get to wash their feet to make sure that they're good and that they're in a place of peace. You see what I'm saying? You get to see people living out agriculture. And so for me, it made the words on the page pop off. Because from us in the Western civilization, we don't get to see that. Because most of us grew up in the city. All we know is loud cars, loud music, loud guns, drugs everywhere, violence, cracked windows. We know city life. So to do a total 180 and to live on a country life, I guess you could say country life or African life, it's a total culture shock. It's a total culture shock. And it's almost very therapeutic and very healing. And so shout out to Daniel who put that tour together in 2018 because I believe we had a special tour. Most people, and this is what I would highly suggest. Most people, when they tour Africa, especially when they go on like a tourist venture or a safari, they just get to see the good parts. Oh, they see the animals, they see the resorts, they see the Airbnbs.
Right.
But I'll tell you, if you're one who really want to consider moving to Africa, you need to know the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly, because you got to know if you can really handle that mentally. You really got to know. You know, many are called, but few are chosen. And only the strong survive. You got to understand. Coming to Africa we're not here to vacation.
Right.
We're here to rebuild our home back. So that takes labor. That takes time. That takes compassion. That takes long suffering. So when you sitting here and you come to vacation, you get to doing a comparative. Knowing all along, you know you don't like America. You know it's a lot of things you hate, you despise about America. And you probably told yourself 10 times a day, you need to leave America. But when you come to Africa, because you got to go through certain things, you do this comparative thing. Like, oh, I just missed this. Oh, I just missed that. No, you don't. Right. You just don't want to work hard. And the problem is the Negro in America have been getting pacified, or what I like to say and be blunt, has been getting breastfed for too long. Right. Breastfed while getting your butt whipped at the same time.
So Mike, so because we on limited time, I definitely want to have everybody out there who has any questions, go ahead and drop them. You watching from YouTube, drop it in the comments. You watching from Facebook. If you have any questions for Brother Mikael, go ahead and drop those in the comments, and I'll make sure he gets it. So speaking of, vacationing, because we're supposed to be coming over there in a couple weeks, 3 weeks, in the beginning of November, something like that. I'm more so coming over there for business. You already know. We talked about that earlier. So what I want to know, what was the transition like? Because I'm planning on moving over there. What has the transition been like? Are you done transitioning? You've been over there for 3 months. What has the transition been like so far? And do you feel like you fully settled in after 3 months?
So the transition has been very, very good. Hard, but fair. Because again, Mama Africa is very therapeutic. So there's healing that goes on. And the healing is not always a good feeling.
Feel good, right?
But it's a worth it process, if that makes sense. And so the transition has been very, very well, especially when you are one who actually has a plan. You got to have a plan coming over here. No matter how hard it gets, what is your plan? And usually the vocal point of your plan needs to be, what can I do to help the people? If you're coming over here with an idea to just help yourself, you're not going to make it. I'm just telling you now. You're not going to make it. You're going to hate Africa. You're going to hate being here. You're going to despise being here. You're going to go back to America because you're thinking about yourself. Africa in no way, shape, or form is a built institution where you can literally do for yourself. You'll get spit out, literally. You gotta, because that's the thing. People here actually need you to do something for them, not just do something for yourself. See, America is about capitalism, where we are about tribalism and family. We're all here together, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I've learned a lot about culture. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. Like when we first got here, we stayed at a friend's house. And two things was a struggle for us. Two things was a struggle. The first thing was this: our friends did not have a washer and dryer. So we had to literally hand wash and dry our clothes. Now, you know how big our family is. That's about 8 people. That's about 8 people. So that alone took all day. So imagine having to do that all day and can't get nothing else done. It can be frustrating. And because we're so we need everything done. It can be very, very upsetting and irritating because it's like, man, I couldn't get nothing else done. But you got to look around. Africa is what they will say, pole pole. Pole pole means it's slow down. You know what I'm saying? Because what the question was, what actually are you rushing to? You see what I'm saying? Most of us, we got to be at work at 8. You knowing our job is an hour drive, so we wake up at 6:55 just to get the door, knowing we're about to be in fight or flight just to get on work to try to be on time. Because we know we get on, we late, we could possibly get fired. Therefore, we ain't getting no check. But here, you working for yourself. You make your own money. So really, you moving on your own time. Slow down.
I love it. I love it.
So that was one of those things we had to get over, is slowing down. Like, relax. Like, slow down. You know what I'm saying? Because you can literally burn yourself out trying to move here fast while everything is slow. Because guess what? If you're going fast, everything's slow, you're going to have friction. So that's one of the things we had to really get over, is that
y'all taking notes, because I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. That's something that should be duly noted. You got to mentally prepare yourself for that. That's a culture shock right there. Yeah. I mean, coming from America, everything is so fast paced, and to get over there, like you said, something like that can be frustrating. You've gone through it, and now you're able to give that wisdom to us so that we prepare for it when we get over there. Appreciate that.
That's right.
We got somebody. So Eddie, he says, I have a Facebook friend from Gambia and who wants to come to the States and work. If anyone knows the best place to get that started, that would be awesome. I like what you guys are talking about. Best wishes on the next move, bro. Thank you, Eddie. Are you familiar with that, Mike?
Gambia?
Yeah. Or where somebody could come back to the States or come to the States and work if they're in Gambia. They want to come to the States and work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you got anything for that, Mike.
It sounds like they trying to come to America. You said the States.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends on what Gambia's laws are. Everybody's laws is different as far as like dual citizenship. And I know America is buckling down even on that, like as far as letting people in now. So as far as the transition, you have to actually go to your local government and ask them what you need to do. You probably need to go to the embassy and ask them for the next steps. You probably can get an international visa or work permit to actually work, but that's every country is different.
Okay, so that's actually my next question. How does citizenship work over there? If we come over there, what are the steps? What do we need to do to actually get solidified so that we're not, deported, or how does that work? There's probably a few different ways we could go about it. So if you could let us know our options.
Very, very great question. And I think that's something very imperative. I actually would, if you are watching this and you plan, you need to write this down, because this is a very, very serious process. And what I've come to know is every diasporian across Africa is having the same exact problem. And so as I was explaining to Brady earlier, unfortunately, what you would call the Negro or the African American is almost a stranger in every piece of land that you go to. And what I mean by that is we have to constantly reintroduce ourselves. We have to constantly tell people why we're here. We have to constantly be the ones who have to, flamingo the system to try to fit in. And so over here, it's a lot of loops. It's a lot of holes that you got to go in and out of to become a citizen. So I would say this: the first thing you need to do coming over here is get on a tourist visa. On a tourist visa, you get a year. You get your visa will last for an actual year. One of the rules of Tanzania is you have to leave every 90 days. The reason they have established this rule because they want to make sure that you're not just sitting here squatting pretty much. They want to make sure you actually are touring, and so that's one way to enter in. But in the meantime, while you're here, you do need to figure out what are you going to do. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? What are you going to establish here? Because we're in a time where it's crunch time. And as I was explaining to Brady earlier, we in the spiritual time of a great exodus, where there's a lot of diasporian African Americans leaving, which is actually causing red flags all across Africa. Now, I don't think it should be a red flag because we coming back home, right? But to them, they don't know what's going on, and all they want to do is protect their home. So that's another red flag that causes somewhat of an issue and makes the process a little harder. So the next thing you need to do after the tourist visa is you need to really establish, because you're not coming over. You should not be coming over here to work for nobody. You should not come over here to work for nobody. You should actually be coming over here to help somebody get a job by you establishing your own business. So that's the next thing you want to do is once you get the tourist visa, you figure out what you want to do. You need to get the process started with your business registration. And while you're doing that, you would then transition your tourist visa into a business visa, because now that looks like you're trying to actually invest in the country, which makes them a little bit more comfortable about giving you residency. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So once you get the business registered and the business visa, you then can actually transition into what they would call a work permit. Now, the business, so you got the tourist visa, which lasts for a year. You got the business visa that lasts for 90 days. Now, once you get the work permit and the residency permit, which comes after the business registration, you then have a residence permit to stay for 2 years, and you no longer have to leave every 90 days. You see?
He's dropping. If I was watching this, I would be dropping diamonds inside the chat right now. Just dropped some nuggets, a lot of nuggets.
Yeah, because this is some important information, and unfortunately, a lot of our brothers who YouTube don't drop this type of information, but it's necessary. I don't believe in giving you the feel good, the paradise version of Africa. I want to give you the fullness, so when you come here, you won't be surprised or you won't be culture shocked. I mean, more than you have to be. You know what I'm saying? But you have the real information. And don't get me wrong, Africa is paradise. It's what you make it, really. You know what I'm saying? It's what you're willing to go through to make that paradise happen for you, that heaven on earth. So after you get the residency and work permit, pretty much at that point, you need to really start getting your business established here. Because after 5 years, then you'll be eligible to be a actual residency officially. You'll be an actual resident officially. But guess what? In between them 5 years, you need to be showing, have you invested in Tanzania? Have you helped the locals? Have you invested in them and get them a job? Have you helped the Tanzania grow? Period. Have you been a benefit to the community? These are all things they're going to look at. So I just want to get that idea out y'all mind. Don't come over here just to link with diasporians or African Americans, because that's not going to get you far. Link with them because you'll have a similar experience from what we come from. But understand this, you need to get with locals. You need to get with Tanzanians who going to help thrust you forward. Because if you got the locals on your side, you're all good. You're all good. And so that should be the key. Come over here to handle business. This is not to be vacation. This is not to just chill. This is not to retire. You're trying to get here to help rebuild Africa back to those great kingdoms that we used to read about. Back to the great kingdom of the Congo, the kingdom of Judah, Mansa Musa's kingdom. All those great kingdoms that we read about, Menelik II, Haile Selassie, the Ethiopian kingdom. We need to get back to building kingdoms. We need to get back to building infrastructure that's within an African value spiritual system. So that takes work. You know what I'm saying? We may not be the generation that sees that paradise, but we can be the generation that at least lays the foundational bricks to get to that paradise. And that really needs to be the goal. So come here with a business mindset, a family business mindset. Let me say that. Not a business mindset, a family business mindset. Because then you will actually value and cherish why you're here more. Because again, if you come here for vacation, you know.
Do y'all hear this? Can y'all please drop some flames for Mikael? We having a virtual call, and I can feel his energy. I can feel your energy, bro. I can feel your energy through the call, man. Through the laptop, like the passion. You know what I mean? And it's bigger. It's bigger than just, like you said, vacation and going over there to escape America, or it's to rebuild, to give back, you know, to the people, to the land, which is, that is what's fulfilling. That's what we've always been about. That's what we've always been about. And to do it at that level, that to do that would allow us to do it at a whole nother level in a more meaningful way. So
that's right.
Definitely.
Hey man, that's a very good point, because we got to understand this. No matter if it's us working businesses in America, us building a Black Wall Street, we still literally are putting money into their system, and not able to foundationally build our own systems. America is built to suppress us, oppress us, and depress us from being who we are. You see, when you actually try something like that, like bring Africa to America, what happens? They blow it up.
They blow it up, burn it down. Yep.
Yeah. So you got to really ask yourself, is the investments you're making in your life within your own environment worth it? Is it really worth it? Why not put your money towards not only a continent that's yours, not only a country that's yours, not only a people that's yours, but something that was literally inherited to you through your DNA?
Right.
Why not? And not to take away from the history of our people in America before Christopher Columbus or Americani or nothing like that. Not to take away from that history, but we know the cradle of life is Africa. We know the cradle of life is Africa. Whether we migrated over there or not, the cradle of life is Africa.
Absolutely, man. So coming over there, what are some things that I already know, because we're doing it and everything that you've recommended for us, but it is some things to worry about as far as mosquitoes and malaria, things like that. And you've prepared us, you know, with certain herbs and certain things that we're doing before we come over there. Like, we're getting ready weeks in advance so that when we get over there, we're prepared for, you know, that we getting our bodies together. So if you could just break that down to everybody as far as what we're doing, what you recommended for us to do, and what you should do going over to this area, you know, coming over to this area. What are some things you should do to best prepare yourself?
Good question. Good question. And that's something very important to understand, because when I went to Ghana, we were told to take the yellow fever shot. And, you know, at the time of my ignorance, not really understanding vaccines at that time, yellow fever wasn't even in Ghana. It was more so malaria, and nobody told us. So when I got back from Ghana, a week after I got back, I caught malaria. You know what I'm saying? I caught malaria, had to go to the hospital, ended up catching pneumonia with it, because America don't know how to deal with malaria. They don't know how to deal with any so-called African disease, although we know they planted it here, but nonetheless, we know they don't really know how to deal with it. So I almost died from that. And so from that point, I really started to research how to prepare my body. So one of the things I definitely would prepare, y'all need to prepare, is I think anybody who wants to come, you need to detox your body. One, you got to realize that you've been eating genetically modified coated foods that have literally been slowly destroying your body, whether that be meat, whether that be starch, whether that be, believe it or not, whether that be vegetable and fruit, believe it or not, especially if it's not seeded fruit. We all, and y'all know me, I'm big on vegetables and fruit. And even myself coming over here, because I'm not getting the freshness, I'm not getting the organic fruits and vegetables. Transitioning was very hard on my stomach. Now for me, it hit late. But for my family, they went through, those symptoms of having bad diarrhea, having headaches, having to drink a lot of water because we are not used to that literal fresh fruits and veggies. Or even if you want to go to rice, we're not used to that. So our body was like, whoa, what's going on? So that's one thing I would highly suggest is get on an all fruit cleanse at least 7 to 14 days before you get here. Give your body a chance to reset and just strengthen your body because the elements over here is totally different. Believe it or not, the sun shines over here totally different than it does over there. The moon shines totally different than it does over here. The climate itself and Dar es Salaam is very, very hot. Like right now, y'all in y'all fall, but we just started spring. And it feel like summer. It feel like summer. So I would definitely say detox. Use neem soap so your skin can get prepared for that. Use neem oil. Use lavender oil. Use grapeseed oil. You can use what else? Lemongrass is very important. Organic potent lemongrass because the mosquitoes hate that. They hate that. So using that to oil your body or using some soap, and even, believe it or not, use neem toothpaste. Neem toothpaste will go through your nervous system. It will go through your gums and also strengthen within as well. So what else? Sea moss would be very good. So if you have any built up mucus, you want to clear that out. Bladder wrack would be good. Elderberry would be good. Papaya would be very, very good for your gut.
Smashing papaya. So Mr. Moore Motivation will actually, he needs the link, for your herbs. You the herb guy. What I can do, since I can type in the comments, what's your website that people can go grab your herbs and check everything out?
Oh, so it's www the THE Edenic EDENIC experience EXPERIENCE.org.
.org. All right, y'all. I'm dropping that on, I believe, Facebook. It may drop on YouTube too, but the Edenic experience.org, the Edenic experience.com or Edenic, right? Experience.org. Man, bro, I wish what we gonna have to do, we gonna have to go live again because I know it's a lot more information. I know you full of information, full of wisdom. What we'll do, we'll just go live again on, a separate occasion. So I got about 15 minutes left and I got to analyze the markets and call out the trades. But man, I really appreciate you, man. So much wisdom and knowledge was dropped on this call. And like I said, I could feel your passion, through the call. And I'm really looking forward to getting over there. And like I said, sitting down with you, reading, getting with the realtor and just sitting down and brainstorming on what we can do with the knowledge that we have over in Tanzania. I can't wait to get over there, man. I can't.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. If you don't mind, I definitely want to just real quick tell everybody what we kind of got going on over here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but besides being an herbalist, we actually working on a few things over here. As some of y'all know, about a few months ago, I actually just released my first book called The Holistic Transition, which you can get on my website. It actually helps people who want to transition spiritually, psychologically, and physically over to a better lifestyle. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website. A few other things that we got going on. We actually have an Airbnb over here in Tanzania. So for anybody who wants to come over here and you're looking for an Airbnb to stay at, let us know. We'll send you the link to how you can book. Right now, we're actually booked literally until the middle of November. So anytime after that, you're more than welcome to book ahead of time. Because we actually booked our first person back at the beginning of September, and we literally are booked until the middle of November. You know what I'm saying? So we have a good location. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. We have a really good location. Another thing that this is gonna be my first time announcing this, and we definitely would love the people to support because it's literally for you. We actually working on a healing room. So for anybody who needs space, or you don't want to stay home, for anybody who ever cleansed, you know how hard it is sometimes to be around an environment and actually cleanse with a clear mind. So we're about to start building a healing center where we actually get people to come and they'll stay with us, and we'll give them their herbs, we'll give them their food, we'll give them their juices. We'll be doing meditation and going through different things to actually heal people. If you don't know, some of the things that we've healed is cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, inflammation, a lot of different things thus far. And when we were building a chart, we're building our record on other things that we're healing. You know what I'm saying? Sickle cell anemia, all those different things that we've been working on. We actually just got our business registered officially last week. So it's going to be called Atomized Urban Juice Bar. So that's going to be coming soon. It's going to be dealing with herbs. It's going to be dealing with juices, and it's going to be dealing with raw foods. So we bringing the authentic experience truly back to Africa. If you didn't know, the original name for Africa before Africa was called Akibulan, which means the Garden of Eden. So we bring Eden back through those foods. What's some other things we got going on? We actually got a pop-up shop going on, and we got a great big project going on where we're gonna be getting some land very soon. So I'm not gonna tell y'all exactly what it is, but we most definitely need y'all support. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but really it takes a village to build a village. So we definitely gonna need y'all support in any way, shape, or form. I'll give Brady the Cash App, or if you want me to say it on here, I can say it on here too. But anyway, y'all can help, we'll appreciate it. So if you do want to donate, the Cash App is the $. Rachel, if you can drop it, or Brady, you can drop it. This $, Repat, REPAT, the number 2, Africa. So $Repat to Africa is the Cash App. If y'all would like to donate to what we're doing, we will most definitely appreciate it, y'all. Most definitely appreciate it. I want to say again, thank you, Brady, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and hopefully influence a lot more people to come back home. Come back home, even if it's for a visit. Come back to mama. Mama miss you. Mama needs you. Mama want to feed you. You know what I'm saying? So come back home. Even if it's not Tanzania, you know, we got Ghana, you got Senegal, you got different places that you can go. Just find your way back here to get that experience, not only for you, but for your people. You know what I'm saying? We all need that great awakening, man. So that I digress.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for taking the time. It's 4:50 or 3:50 right now. I know over there. So, and I know y'all got a lot to do. I already know. So go ahead, get some rest, man. Peace, love, blessings. Love you, bro. I will talk to you soon. And thank you again for coming on.
No doubt. Peace, love, light, and prosperity, family.
All right, man. That was so much information. I really wanted to keep going. The whole call could have been about that, but this is Markup Monday, so I'm gonna go ahead and analyze the charts. So first, before we get into it, let's go ahead and review what happened last week. And we've broken that trend line. All right, so I do believe the market, we looking for a sell for sure. And this is where I want to see it come up to for the sale tonight. Right, so we came down here and the market went up, and now we're coming back down towards that area. So more than likely, we'll probably get a bounce. So it would be good to take profit. All right, so last week we hit another one, another sniper entry. We are currently 9-0 since the start of Markup Monday. So let's go ahead and get into it really quickly. We'll start out with the news and what we should be looking for the upcoming week for the euro versus the dollar. All right. All right, so for the economic calendar, can you guys see this, or am I still on the screen? All right, there we go. Should be on there now. Can somebody drop in the chat if you guys can see the screen? Can you see Bitcoin on the chart right now? It's me. Huh. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're not letting me pull this up. Hold on, y'all. Give me a quick second. Try to get this together. I'm pretty sure. Let's do this. You know what? Okay, here it is. I got it. All right, what about now? There it is. All right, sorry about that. All right, so news. It's crazy. All right, so what we have for the economic calendar coming up, we had a lot of negative news for the US dollar last week, which should drive EU up, in theory. But like I always teach my students, news is just an excuse, and we really only look at it for the volatility. As far as volatility coming up on Tuesday, all we got is orange folders. So I don't see EU making like any dramatic moves. Wednesday, same thing, a lot of orange folders. I don't see any action on that day either. So just treating it as normal, uptrends, downtrends, not expecting any like far targets to get hit anytime soon. And then on Thursday, we have jobless claims. Now, jobless claims, and that's going to be for the US dollar, that always moves the market. Any report on jobless claims, interest rates, things like that is going to provide volatility for the market. That's going to be at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday. All right. So at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday, be expecting some volatility. If you trade around that time, just be wary and be careful in the markets around that time. Also at 10 o'clock, existing home sales, that's a red folder. So that's going to provide some volatility. And then on Friday, this is where we're going to see a lot of action. I personally don't trade on Friday. Technically, I'll trade the London session Thursday morning or Thursday going into Friday, but I'm done trading after about 3:30, 4 o'clock Friday morning. So we have red folders at 3:30 for EU, got the market composite. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, also market composite for EU, red folders. And then at 9:45, same thing, market composite, market services, and then market manufacturing, all red folders for the US dollar. So expect a lot of volatility on Friday. All right, now let's go ahead and get into the technical analysis side of things, because that was just the fundamentals. All right. Boom. All right, so let's go ahead and look at EU. All right, starting out from the higher time frame, we are still in a downtrend. We're still downtrending. So what's happening right now as far as the bullishness that you're seeing on EU or the accumulation? In my opinion, this is a pullback. All right. This uptrend that's happening right now on the lower time frames is just a pullback. All right. Anybody that's stuck on the 15-minute, they believe that it's a pull, or they believe that it's uptrending, when actually what's happening is we're in a larger pullback, or a pullback on the larger time frame. And there's a strong possibility that we could catch a continuation down from this area. So we're starting to head up to this sell area that we've been looking at for about 2 to 3 weeks now. But there are some opportunities to buy on the lower time frame, in my opinion. And I believe those opportunities could present themselves tonight during the London scope. So let's go ahead and drop down to the lower time frames. This is the hour, and we're already moving. We're already starting to move. But I do not believe this is going to be the move up. I mean, it's in the Asian range right now. It's really an odd time for EU to be actually making its move, or the actual move. So I think what's happening right now is maybe we're clearing liquidity. Maybe we come up here and we create some equal highs, and then we drop back down. Keep in mind, if you look at this, technically, this is a zone of consolidation. All right, we consolidated in this range. We broke out of the consolidation at the bottom, and we came right back up into the consolidation, and we rejected from the top of the consolidation. I would not be looking to catch a buy from where it's at right now. I have to see it pull back, or it has to come up to my sell area. So here's the sell zone for the week. In between price level, let me pull out the crosshairs. In between price level 1.16, let's just say 700. 1.16700 and 1.16, let's call it 890, or let's say 900. So that is a range of 20 pips, right? In between 1.16900 and 1.16700 is a range of 20 pips. And that is the sell zone for me. All right. This red box right here, in between this red box, is our sell zone for the week. All right. And then for the buy zone, what I've seen on a lower time frame, I really like this area right here. If we can get a push down below this consolidation where we created this liquidity, looks like we manufactured some liquidity here. If I delete this box, as you can see, we got some equal lows here. I would love to see EU come back down and take out this liquidity and buy from this area. All right, 30 pip stop loss from here. If that fails, if we hit the 30 pip stop loss, the second buy zone is down here in between price level 1.15550 and 1.15480. All right, and then that's a 30 pip stop loss as well. So 2 shots that I would take. First shot would be here. Second shot would be down here. And then if we don't get those opportunities, I would be waiting for the sell up here, and I would actually be looking to hold one of these positions. I'll be taking 2 positions on this sell. One, I'm going to catch the reaction, 20 pips, if it gives that. And then the other position, I will actually hold that until the last low. All right, let's go back out to the higher time frame so we don't forget where we are. Basically where you see that stop loss at, I would like to see the market come here, and then I would take profits around here. I would be taking partials on the way down, but I would take profit at this low here, and then I would be expecting it to continue down. All right, so we're talking about a potential. If we were to get in right here at the bottom, we're talking about a potential of 145 pips, which is, you know, a nice amount of pips on EU. All right, but that is it. That is it for EU. Pretty simple. Tonight we're either waiting for it to come down to this buy zone that I have marked up, 30 pip stop loss. If that fails, we have a second buy zone down here, right? And then definitely waiting on this sale right up here in between price level 16700 and 1.16900. Something else that you guys need to know, if you're in the cryptocurrency, some major news before we hop off, some major news in the cryptocurrency world is the SEC potentially approving Bitcoin futures being traded. All right. And the reason why this is big, give me a quick second. I want to pull this up. There's tab. Boom. Here we go. All right, so the SEC is poised to allow the first Bitcoin futures ETF to begin trading. For anybody who doesn't know what an ETF is, that means exchange traded funds. And what that means is you don't actually own the Bitcoin. All right, so they're going to allow people to invest in the price of Bitcoin, pretty much. That's the most simple way that I can explain it. So people won't actually own, or the investors who get into this, they won't actually own Bitcoin. They'll just be basically betting against the price, whether it's going to go short or long. Now, the reason why this is important is because this is going to bring a whole new wave of institutional traders in. We've already seen institutional flow coming into the cryptocurrency markets, but now we're going to see even more institutional flow and new investors coming into trading in the cryptocurrency market, specifically Bitcoin. And technically, right, on the technical side of things, and when I say technical, I mean looking at what's actually going on the charts, analyzing the candlesticks, is really lining up with the fundamentals, because Bitcoin is sitting right at its all-time high. It's at about 62,000 the last time I checked. Actually, we can bring it up real quick so I can explain it to you while we're looking at it. But Bitcoin has been sitting at 62,000. And with this news and with this potential influx of new investors coming into the cryptocurrency market, it could be enough fuel to push Bitcoin up beyond 65,000. And potentially by the end of the year, we could see Bitcoin hit 100,000, which is something that, you know, we've been calling for a while now, 100,000 by the end of the year. Historically, Bitcoin performs very well in the fourth quarter, and we're in the fourth quarter right now. We are in the fourth quarter right now. So let's go ahead and look at this so you guys can see what I mean. Let's go out to the daily on auto. All right. So this is Bitcoin from 2015 to current date. All right. Our all-time high is right here. All right. We hit this back in March around that, or the beginning of April of 2021. And we are now up to that level again. Of course, it's a lot of sellers sitting up here. It's a lot of sellers sitting up here. But like I said, with this news, with the SEC allowing Bitcoin futures to be traded as ETFs, this could be the move, or this could be, pull the fib out. Technically and fundamentally, it's really just lining up. We got our 200% extension up here, right at 100,510. So somewhere in that area. And honestly, it would be really nice if we could get a pullback. If you're interested in Bitcoin, what I would do personally, I would wait for a pullback. If it doesn't give you a pullback, then I got to wait for it to clear this high and continue up and then get a pullback from one of these Fibonacci extensions. So maybe we come up to the 127 and we get a retracement back down to where price is currently at, or the previous high, right? If we break above 65, come back down, go up to 75, come back down to 65, that would be an area to get in. I'm just giving y'all some logic. This isn't investment advice. Definitely do this at your own risk. Use proper risk management. But I do believe Bitcoin is potentially going to take off. And what that means for Ripple and the rest of the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin almost always pulls the rest of the cryptocurrency market up with it. So if you're already in Ripple, if you got in when we were telling you guys to invest back around 64 cents, you are in good. And we haven't even come close to the old all-time high. All right, we're talking about 300, 400% gains potential on Ripple. And then, of course, Cardano, one of my favorites. I believe this is geared to head back up. And then Rachel's favorite, SHIB. This is just going crazy. I don't really have any fundamental or technical advice to give you guys on SHIB. SHIB is a gamble, in my opinion. It's a quick flip. All right, but that is it. It's 9:08. We went over. We got some great information from Mike. Like I said, if you guys are going to take these trades, make sure you use proper risk management. And again, this isn't, investment advice. I'm not perfect, even though we're 9-0 undefeated right now. I've lost before, right? This is the market. I'm not perfect. I'm not a psychic. So just because I'm on a streak right now doesn't mean to over leverage and take advantage, take advantage of these, try to take advantage of these calls, because you'll end up, taking advantage of yourself in your account. Right. So, but other than that, thank you everybody for coming on. If you got value from this call, go ahead and drop flames. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. We stream from Facebook, which is Delonte Nova Brady. That's my personal Facebook. We also stream from our YouTube at Bold People Get Rich. And then we also stream from the website, bpgrinc.com. So if anything ever fails, you have other places that you can go to check it out. And anybody coming in, checking this out or checking out the recording, feel free to drop comments. I'll respond to it. Other than that, I will see you guys in the chats, on the charts, and remember to always stay safe, stay dangerous. Peace.